When it comes to teaching vocabulary, rote memorization, where a student is asked to look in the dictionary, define a word, and memorize that definition, has been the go-to strategy for a long time. Unfortunately, this strategy is not effective for long-term retention, and often students forget the definition the week after the test. Today, we're going to share with you our vocabulary definition framework that allows you to support students in understanding vocabulary words and actually knowing what they mean instead of memorizing a list of words in a definition. Hi, I'm Michaela from Ascend Smarter Intervention, where we make research-based instruction easy and accessible. In today's video, we are going to talk about our vocabulary framework, so be sure to head to the description and download this free resource as well so that you can use this same framework with your own students. Now, when we look at this framework, we are looking for students to provide 4 pieces in their definition. The category is the group that the word would belong to. Oftentimes, this might look like the part of speech, but we want it to be as specific as possible. So, for example, if we were to define the word spoon, we might say it's a noun, and we'd be correct. A spoon is a noun. If we take it a step further, we could say that this is a thing. And even more specifically, we could say a spoon is a utensil or something that we use to eat. That then transitions us into the next part of the definition, which is the function, purpose, or features. When we think about a word, we want to know why we use the word, what is it used for, what does it look like? And so a spoon is something we use to eat that has a curved end and a long handle or a stem. We might use this to eat soft foods like ice cream or soup. Then, to help anchor students' knowledge, we ask them to find a synonym, something that is in the same category. So in this example of a spoon, we'd be looking for another utensil that has a similar function, purpose, or features. A spoon is kind of like a fork because we also use it to eat. Once we have our synonym, we'll ask students to come up with an antonym or a shade of meaning. An antonym is traditionally an opposite. And now when we think about a spoon, we don't really have a clear opposite here. It's not like hot and cold or tall or short. We're looking instead for a shade of meaning. So we'll ask students to take their synonym and for the shade of meaning, provide the reasoning that it's different than the target word. So if our target word is spoon and our synonym is it's like a fork, we could say a spoon is like a fork, but it does not have prongs, or but it's used for soups and ice creams, and a fork is used for something that you can pick up with the spiky ends of the fork. We want them to be able to explain why it's different. The important part of this framework is that students are able to fill it in with words that they already recognize. If we are asking them to just come up with a definition based on what the dictionary says, they might run into words that they aren't familiar with, or it might not be the most appropriate explanation based on their background knowledge. So, for example, you can say here a definition for the word crab. It's a little bit more simple. It might be for a student, or the student might provide these words based on their own background knowledge, whereas another student might provide this more advanced definition. You'll also notice here that we've asked students to come up with pictures of the word, whether they draw it or they find one online. This can help anchor that knowledge even more, as well as help them to define the words if they aren't familiar with them. Both of the examples where we had a simple definition and one that was a bit more complex would be correct. We're not looking for students to memorize the exact wording we provide them, but instead conceptualize what the word means so that they can visualize it in their own mind. This strategy is going to support that long-term retention of vocabulary knowledge. It's also going to be a strategy they can use on their own to define words in the future. So like I said at the beginning, go ahead and grab the free vocabulary resource that I've linked in the description below. I'll also link to a blog that has more information for you. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe as well as give us a like. That way, when you subscribe, you'll be the first to know when we post more videos like this with free resources, as well as tips and tricks that we use with our own students. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we can't wait to chat more soon.